One of my most favorite sayings in business is this quotation: strategy without execution is useless. Execution without strategy is aimless. So strategy and execution, both of them are important. But here's the really important question. How do you know whether you're actually properly executing on your go-to-market strategy? You put so much work into it, you define it. How do you actually make sure you're doing the things every single day to drive the growth of your SaaS business, to make that strategy very real in terms of execution? How do you know whether it's working or not? How do you know whether it's time to course correct and maybe tweak your strategy because you're not quite getting the results that you want? So in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 principles that you absolutely need to know in order to ensure you're executing on your go-to-market strategy in the right way and not falling into the trap of overcompensating for strategy and not enough on execution. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. If you are new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode 2 to 3 times a week with actionable strategies to grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. Now, if you're already part of my SaaS coaching programs, if you are part of this community, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. Now, one of the biggest forms of procrastination that we as humans, myself included, are guilty of is actually focusing too much on planning and not as much on executing. It feels really good to sit down and make plans, to design a strategy, to build another to-do list of here are all the things we're gonna do, to think about the OKRs, to do all the things except for doing the thing. And this is one of the things where I remember at a point in my life where I had some setbacks and I was talking to a coach of mine, and we were working through like, all right, what have we learned? What do we need to change? And one of the things he asked me was like, hey, if you actually did all the things that you have in your notebook, that you like built out into your notebook, wrote out, planned out, if you actually did all of those things, what would happen? Where would you be? And that was one of those moments where I'm like, oh my God, like execution is the most important thing, even if you have the best drawn out plans. But so often we get distracted. We actually try to chase too many things down. We don't have that discipline to actually execute on what needs to be executed on. And that's really what makes or breaks successful founders. They're the ones that truly have the discipline and the grit to execute on what is necessary, no matter what. Even if you're resource constrained, even if there's too many competing priorities, even if you're tired and you're like, I can't keep going on, but you need to finish this one last thing. That's what really makes the difference. But the bigger question is, how do you actually ensure you're executing on the right things? Particularly on go-to-market, because go-to-market is one of those things where conceptually you can lay out a lot of things you should be doing, but they don't always translate into day-to-day activities that you must be doing, whether it's you or your team or all of you combined. So in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 principles that I've used personally to transform myself and my team into an execution engine, especially on our go-to-market, which is super important. And when you actually follow these 3 principles, you'll actually be able to put your strategy to work, and you'll actually be able to accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. So if you're excited to dig into principle number 1, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's go right into it. Principle number 1 is actually to first gut check, do you have a defined go-to-market strategy? So a lot of times people walk around like, oh yeah, we totally have a strategy. It's like, well, what's your strategy? So our strategy is to win. That is not a strategy, that is a wish list. But do you actually have a go-to-market strategy? Quick gut check on this. Number 1, do you actually have a defined ICP? Number 2, do you have properly defined narrative and messaging and positioning? And number 3, do you actually know which channels you're going to be doubling down on and really getting good at? There are 9 different SaaS channels that you can grow through. You can't be great at all of them in the early stages, so you gotta pick 1 or 2 and really go dominate. That is essentially your go-to-market strategy. So the first thing I wanna get out of the way, principle number 1, is before you start beating yourself up around execution, you wanna make sure that you actually have a well-defined strategy. So that's principle number 1. Now, if you're a follower of this channel, maybe you kind of know what goes into a strategy. If you're part of my SaaS coaching programs, you definitely have a strategy. So that's like, just make sure that you have that. Principle number 2 is once you have that strategy, you got to just like get into the discipline of what do I need to be doing daily? Whether it's yourself as a founder, because it's still founder-led sales, or it's your sales team or your marketing team or your team in general, if all of you are collectively working on it, especially when it comes to your go-to-market strategy and your execution, you really need to dig into like, look, what are the things we need to do daily? Daily we need to do. You need to have a checklist. So principle number 2, in terms of your daily cadence, you need to actually make sure like maybe every day you need to be tweaking your ads or talking to your ads team. Every day you should be outbound prospecting, connecting with more people in your ICP and LinkedIn. Every day you should be following up on the deals that you have in flight or the deals that you lost and maybe now is a good time to re-engage. And every day you should be figuring out, are there customers that are doing really well that I can ask for referrals? Now, this is not an exhaustive list, but this gives you an example of every day what you should be doing in terms of execution around your go-to-market strategy. Now, if you don't have something like this every day, then chances are you're not executing enough. If you're wondering why you're not growing faster, if you're wondering, well, is the strategy right or not, you're not gonna know because you're just not putting it into play. You have these beautiful drawn out plans, but maybe you're not actually executing. And what I like to do is basically I use Asana, we all use Asana in my team, and we actually have a recurring checklist for ourselves on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. Meaning on a weekly basis, here are all the things we must do. On a daily basis, here are all the things we must do. And I have it set up where I'm gonna check off on each and every one of these key things every single day, and that's my daily cadence. If I know I'm doing this daily cadence and other members of my team that are revenue facing are doing these key things, then I know my strategy is actually getting put into play. If we are not doing these things on a daily basis, then chances are we're not collecting enough data, we're not driving enough activities, we're not making enough movement in the market to actually make a difference. Before I go to principle number 3, let me just pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this? How many of you, and you can put this in the comments, if you feel like you have a daily cadence and you're driving towards it, tell me about it. Tell me what are the 3 or 4 things that you absolutely put on your daily cadence. If you aren't doing it, I know a lot of us are like that. Like it takes some time to get into this discipline and get the momentum going. Put that in the comments. Just say like, no, I haven't started it, but I'm gonna start now. Here's what's gonna be on my daily cadence. Put that in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. Also, if you don't wanna put either of those things, let me just get a yes in the comments below so that I know this is resonating with you. Also, if you haven't smashed that like button yet for the YouTube algorithm, please do that. The YouTube algorithm loves it when you smash the like button. Now, I want to go into principle number 3, but also if you're looking for help on these pieces, how to actually get the go-to-market strategy in place, how to drive that daily cadence, how to actually dig into like whether it's working or not, this is exactly why I created my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. There are nearly 65 founders in the program right now, and we're growing. And this is for an exclusive group of founders that want to grow faster with an unstoppable go-to-market strategy. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video, but let's go to principle number 3. Principle number 3 is you need to have a weekly experiments and metrics spreadsheet. This is super important. When you're in my coaching program, we actually give you the spreadsheet that will help you track on a weekly basis exactly the key metrics that matter. Now, we follow a very specific system in defining a go-to-market strategy and executing on it inside the program. Yours may be different. So I'm not gonna get super prescriptive around the metrics you should look at. You'll know best based on your go-to-market strategy. But for us, the big things that we like to look at is, well, how much engagement are we getting from our activities? How many leads are we generating, or how many users are signing up? How many of them are becoming real opportunities? Even if you just monitor those 3 key metrics, it'll help you start to understand, is our execution actually working? Is our strategy sound? What have we learned and what do we tweak? And also it allows us to experiment every week. Every week we go in and say, cool, what do we tweak? Do we change the landing page? Do we change the ad? Do we actually change our outbound subject lines? What do we tweak and how do we measure? And does that make the week after week number change? When you start to think in this way, not only are you getting into this momentum of executing, you also get addicted to improving. Because every week you'll do a little experiment, you'll see, well, did it go up or did it go down? If it went up, let's double down on it. What's a new experiment we run? And all of a sudden you get in this loop of putting in things into play, doing the activities, seeing what happens and getting better and better and better and better and better. We call this Kaizen. Kaizen is one of my most favorite principles. You can look it up. It's about continuous improvement. And when you start to get into that, this discipline of the daily cadence actually becomes fun. This is not something that becomes like, oh God, I gotta check off this like boxes again. It's like, no, let's put this into play. We have a new experiment running and we'll look at the metrics on Monday and we'll see if it gets better and better. And we wanna make it get better and better. And when you get into this, the discipline is actually not difficult. You basically trade it in for regret later. You actually start to see success now, which is super, super important. So to recap, in order to ensure that your go-to-market strategy is actually driving execution, number one, do a gut check of whether you actually have a go-to-market strategy. You have a properly defined ICP, a specific strategic narrative, your messaging, your positioning, the channels you're going after. Do you actually have a strategy? Number two, have you taken that strategy and put in a daily cadence that you can execute on? What are the set of activities you need to do every day and with your team to ensure you're actually putting that strategy into motion? And as you're doing that every week, are you actually measuring it and running experiments to see how you can make it better and better and better and better and better? You do these three things, then you're gonna ensure that you're not only do you have a go-to-market strategy, but you're gonna be executing to accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. Now, if you got value from this, but you're like, you know what? We need to revamp our strategy, or we need to actually get better about our daily cadences. We need to understand what metrics to measure. We need to actually figure out how we can embrace Kaizen and build this go-to-market machine. This is exactly why I created my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside of this program, we actually guide you through in developing your ICP, developing your manifesto, which is your strategic narrative, and then running a Broadway show every week with a specific set of activities to help put that strategy into execution and drive the growth of your SaaS business. Now, this program is not for everyone. It's for founders who are looking to scale faster. So if that's you, I invite you to check out tkcater.com/GTM. tkcater.com/GTM. You go over there, you get all the details around the program. You'll be able to put in your email address and apply to join. When you apply to join, you just basically answer some basic questions, and then you'll get on a call with myself or a member of my team. We'll go through your questions, we'll understand the strategy on whether we can help you grow, and then if it's a fit, we'll start working together. It's super easy. Just go to tkcater.com/GTM, and you'll get all the information around my SaaS and go-to-market coaching program. Lastly, if you got value from this video, be sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Also, I drop a video like this with actionable strategies to grow your SaaS business. Strategies and principles that I learned because I lived the same path that you have. I have been a founder, I've scaled a business, I've exited my business, and this is why I bring it to you every week, 2 to 3 times a week. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon if you haven't already. Also, I would love to hear from you. So put in the comments, what are your daily activities? How do you think about driving execution around your strategy? How are you feeling about your strategy? And any questions you have around any of the things that I mentioned in this video, I respond to every single one. My team monitors the comments all the time to make sure that I get to them. So I welcome comments. I absolutely love them. And if you have a fellow founder that would get value from this, please share it with them. Also, it will mean the world to us. We put a lot of love into these videos. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode.